In the quiet early morning of January the 21st, 1970, the small town of Junction City, Oregon, home to just about 2,500 people, was abruptly awakened. The piercing cries of a woman shattered the stillness, and moments later, a thunderous explosion echoed from the outskirts, accompanied by the wailing of sirens. The tranquility of this close-knit community was shattered, leaving everyone in shock. What could have caused such chaos? At only 20 years old, Julie Ann Dade was already embracing the roles of wife and mother. Her son Mark had just celebrated his first birthday the day before. Her husband, Terry Lynn Dade, was 19, and they had been married for a little over 15 months. They called a newly built apartment complex on Maple Street their home. Friends described the couple as quiet and family-oriented. Julie was known for her impeccable housekeeping and graduated from North Eugene High School in 1967. With her striking beauty, she was quite a favorite among her peers. Terry graduated from Junction City High School in 1968. While he was considered an average student and did not engage in extra activities or sports, he found immense joy in his roles as a father and husband. Known for his strong work ethic, he dedicated his evenings to his job at the Junction City plywood mill. The couple was still settling in, having lived in their delightful new duplex for just 8 weeks. Terry got home from the plywood mill around midnight, and soon they were both in bed. But in the early hours between 2 and 3:30 a.m., a knock at the door woke Julie. As she opened it, she was immediately knocked out or stunned. What led her to open the door? Why did she not wake Terry? Did she perhaps recognize the person? It is a lesson that remains true. Never open your door at such an hour. Not in 1970, and certainly not now. At this point, the situation starts to get a little murky. Mrs. Dade was abducted from her home by this intruder, who held her captive in his car for an extended period. It seems she managed to escape by jumping from the vehicle and running away in fear around 4:20 a.m. Just a short distance southeast of Julie's apartment on Laurel Street, a witness reported hearing a woman scream, prompting a call to the police. He observed a stocky man struggling with a woman, dragging her away from his front door. When he asked if there was a problem, the man simply said, "She's drunk." He described the scene, saying the woman was wailing as he dragged her out into the street. When they reached the middle of the road, her screams ceased, according to his account. He then hurled her into a white station wagon. The sturdy, medium-built man with a husky frame did something quite peculiar. He pulled out a flashlight and started scanning the street with a calm demeanor, searching for something elusive. After a fruitless search, he simply got into his vehicle and drove off with the woman. In just 10 minutes, Julie Dade's life would come to an end. Yet, this encounter with the man was far from over. Just a few minutes later, he reappeared on foot, flashlight in hand, methodically scanning the ground. This time, he spotted something, quickly pocketed it, and walked away. What was it that he found? Had he dropped something that could give away his identity? Was it his watch? Did he inadvertently take a necklace from Julie? Perhaps it was an earring, or maybe he intended to keep a trophy. At 4:45 a.m., the tranquility of the night was shattered by a loud explosion, sending residents of Trailertown Trailer Park into a panic as they contacted the police. One man, awakened by the commotion, looked out his window to find his treasured 1962 white Buick station wagon consumed by fire. Despite his frantic efforts to put out the fire, the flames raged on, overwhelming him. Firefighters quickly arrived at the location, where a station wagon was ablaze beneath a carport, situated roughly 40 feet away from a nearby trailer. The flames seemed to originate from the back of the vehicle. The owner of the car informed the firefighters that he had spotted a body underneath it. Initially, the firefighters were puzzled about how the fire had started. Eventually, it was discovered that the blaze was ignited by a punctured gas tank, with the body being pushed underneath and soaked in gasoline. Paramedics arrived and were finally able to retrieve the woman's body, which had been burned and trapped under the car. She was found in a robe, but tragically, there was nothing that could be done to save her. Later that morning, the sound of baby cries echoed from Julie's apartment, prompting concerned neighbors to alert the police. Upon arrival, officers discovered the door slightly open. They stepped inside and found Terry lying across the bed. Seemingly, the victim's wound was thought to be from a high-caliber weapon. Fortunately, baby Mark was located in his crib, safe and sound. Terry's autopsy uncovered that his face had been savagely smashed with a heavy, blunt instrument. Thanks to the thorough investigation by the police, who went door to door, they were able to connect the dots. The woman discovered under the car was Julie Dade. Her autopsy revealed a tragic fate. She had been strangled and beaten to death prior to being set on fire. The following Saturday at 11 a.m. marked the funeral at the First Christian Church. It was a heart-wrenching scene, as just 15 months before, the same church had been filled with joy for the couple's wedding. Now the family was gathered once more, this time to say their final goodbyes in caskets. Mark was entrusted to his grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, who were Julie's parents. He spent his childhood without any memories of his loving parents. It has been 55 years since the tragic murder occurred. In most instances, a case this cold would be nearly impossible to crack. However, in this tight-knit community of Junction City, the story of this couple has never faded from memory. The repercussions of this crime still resonate in the small mill town. As we enter 2025, investigators are taking a fresh look at the case, believing that it can finally be solved. They are reaching out to witnesses once more and encouraging anyone with leads to come forward. The family has a name they think might be connected to the case, but the police are keeping that detail confidential. There are countless scenarios regarding the fate of Julie and her husband Terry. What could have led to this incident involving such a private couple? Did Julie have any prior connection with this man? Was it an old classmate with an obsession, or maybe a friend who believed their bond was deeper than it was? Could it be that Julie Dade was facing a stalker? Do you think this case has any chance of being solved? Share your insights. I am eager to discuss this further. Your support of my channel means more to me than you know. These cases are so important to me. I really appreciate your continued support. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Friday.